All right, you guys. Just gonna check my lighting real quick. Okay, that works. All right. My name is Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. If you are not familiar with us, let me tell you what we are about. So, this is the web series where we like to talk that real talk. We like to talk about things that are happening in education, employment, health, mental health, social services, family. We've done topics on divorce. We've done like a million episodes on ADHD. What does it mean to be a man? So we've definitely touched a lot of ground here. And today is no different. I am excited about this episode because I'm just excited. I'm excited about all of my episodes, but I'm particularly excited about this episode. This guest, he has an amazing story, and I can't wait for him to share it with you guys. So let's get right to it. So, the name of this episode is Triumph and Mindset. I was trying to think of a sexy title, but that's what I got. Triumph and Mindset. So, this episode today is all about overcoming your obstacles and having the right frame of mind. And I have a guest with me who is going to help me with that discussion. So, his name is Shane Boyd, and I'm going to tell you about him. So, without further ado, who is Shane Boyd? Let me tell you who he is. Let me tell you who he is. So Shane Boyd is a marketing and mindset coach that believes to have a great business, you must have a great mindset. Because a great mindset and a great marketing system equals more money and more freedom for you. He helps entrepreneurs overcome the speed bumps in their minds so that they can unleash their greatness, do stuff that matters, and live on purpose. And you can learn more about Shane Boyd on his website, theshaneboyd.com. So his name is in the website. Again, it's theshaneboyd.com. Awesome. All right, so without further ado, I am going to bring Mr. Boyd to the stage right now.
Cool.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I hope you are as well.
Awesome. So you have a great story. I can't wait for you to tell us about it. It's triumph, it's obstacles, it's everything. So I want you to just get right into it. So I'm gonna pass the baton over to you, and I am going to let you tell your story.
Very cool. Thank you for that. I always want to preface, when you mentioned the website, theshaneboyd.com, it's not an arrogant thing why I have the word the in front of Shane Boyd. You see, the thing is, there's already a famous Shane Boyd. He happens to be a football player. He played in awesome college football. He was quarterback, and he played in NFL, and he finished up in the Canadian League. Well, he had ShaneBoyd.com. So I had to put something else in there to keep it easy. That's why I put the D. It's not for vanity purposes. It was just my name's already taken. Now, I have a question for you. For you, I have a question. Did you know that I was a human speed bump? It's true. Now, the story I'm going to share with you was how I was turned into a literal human speed bump, and then how I was able to overcome that. And I used that to basically restart my life. But here's the short and skinny. It was an ordinary day, as is every day you wake up, and it's just going to be a normal day. If you knew you were going to have a car accident that day and get in a bad wreck, well, you'd probably stay in bed that day, wouldn't you? And then the same with me. It was just a normal day. This happened years ago, back in December of 1999. But it was a normal day. I woke up, went to work, went to the gym after work, and then that evening is when the accident actually happened. Now, this was again years ago, And I also want to mention that I had full custody of my daughter at the time. I'm not full custody yet, but she was with me full time, just going through a divorce. I'm since been in the marriage military, been married, divorced, remarried, have a couple kids. But at this time when this accident happened, back in December of '99, I had my daughter. So I was living with my brother at the time, who's 6 years older than I am. And I preface all this to let you know that yes, I was out doing stuff that was irresponsible, but my daughter was okay. She was at home. I was out that evening. My brother was home with her. I was made sure that I stayed with her, tucked her in, said her prayers, all that good stuff. So while she was in bed is when I went out. Now that evening wasn't unusual. All we did was my girlfriend, myself, and another couple. Now, they were driving. So the other couple, my buddy and his girlfriend, were driving. So I had no worries about it. All we did was we decided to go out and have some beers, throw some darts, and shoot some pool. Pretty common Saturday night for a 22-year-old person. Nothing unusual there. Now, I like to mention when I share the story, the truck that we were driving in, because it's relevant to the story. The truck was a 1994 Ford F350. It was a dually, so it had four wheels in the back. It was a diesel, four-wheel drive, and it had the crew cabs that had large four doors. Essentially, I say all that to let you know it was like the largest non-commercial truck on the road at that time. All right, pretty big truck. It was my buddy's work truck, basically. So we were driving in his vehicle. Now he was the driver. Nobody was sober that night. We were out drinking some beers and throwing some darts and shooting some pool. And it wasn't late. It was 11:30 midnight ish when apparently I had too much to drink, and they found me in the restroom, basically passed out. So they're like, you know what? It's time to get Shane home. He's been drinking too much. He needs to go back and sleep it off. The next day was Sunday. I had the day off. Everything was fine up to that point. Just had too much to drink, and it's time to go home. Now, as we were going home is when the incident happened. You see, we were driving in the truck. I was in the back seat. My girlfriend's beside me. My buddy's driving. His girlfriend's beside him. So we're driving back to the apartment where I lived. Now, mind you, it's my brother's apartment, so he is the one there taking care of my daughter. They're all asleep at this point. It's late. Now, in the neighborhood that I lived in, there were a lot of speed bumps on the road. I mean, it was a neighborhood. It wasn't like a main highway. So it was a neighborhood. It's a condo development. It had houses there and so on. So you had speed bumps. Now, interesting thing, some of the speed bumps are kind of high. Sometimes you can scrape your car across them. They're designed to slow you down in the neighborhood, obviously. So that's where we were. We were driving through our neighborhood, taking Shane back home. Okay. I was in the back seat as we were driving. I began to, for some reason, roll down the window and begin to climb out of the truck, the back window of the truck, while we were driving. Now, not the back window that goes towards the bed. I mean the back window that goes outside. So I'm rolling down the window, and I begin to crawl out of the window as the truck is moving. And it's then when they said we hit a speed bump, and we realized Shane wasn't in the truck, so we stopped to go get him. Well, in that stretch of area, in that road where we were, there were no speed bumps. I was the speed bump. But see, nobody knew that at the time. They knew I fell out. And when they looked at me, I had some scrapes on my face, but they didn't know that anything bad happened. They had no idea that they ran me over. Again, everybody was drinking, not really in a good mindset at the time. And when you have a head injury, it's not like it's advertised. You can have bleeding in your brain. The only person that's going to know is a doctor when you get an X-ray. I mean, you just don't know about head trauma. It's not advertised. My buddy went back to grab me. He helped me up, and I began to walk with him back to the truck. Evidently, I was cursing him as I was walking. And I always laugh about that, saying, well, he did just run me over, so I guess I was probably angry, right? But he didn't know that I was run over. He just thought that I fell out, and he was helping me back to the truck because I was walking and I was talking. And they helped me back to my apartment where I was living with my brother. I was able to walk upstairs. with their help, along the way. So I walked upstairs, and they went into the condo, and again, nobody knew how serious of an accident that we were just in. They went into the house, and because my brother, he's 6 years older than I am, so he was the oldest adult on the scene. So we were just thinking, they thought, hey, we got to go tell somebody that something happened to Shane. So they woke up my brother. He came out to the living room, gave me a kind of once over, look down, was like, you know what? Just lay him on the floor, let him sleep it off. I've seen him worse. Right? He had no idea either. Nobody knew what I was going through at that time. So they laid me down on the living room floor and allowed me to, sleep it off. Well, the next morning, around 7 o'clock ish, and people were kind of waking up, I wasn't waking up. Right? I wasn't moving. I wasn't moving at all. I wasn't coherent. I was just in a deep, deep sleep, basically in a coma. Is what I was in. Now, my brother had no idea what to do. So what he did, he called my dad. Now, my dad was an excellent carpenter. Okay. If you wanted somebody to build a deck for you or put an addition on for you, he's your guy, right? My dad was not a physician, but he did have some sage advice when he got there. He got there, looked at me, and essentially saw his youngest son dying, on the living room floor. And then he was like, call an ambulance now. Okay, so that's what they did. They called an ambulance, and that's when they took me off to the hospital. What's funny about that is in the town where I lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, there were several hospitals. The closest hospital was basically a smaller hospital. It's a place you go to if you have some broken bones or whatnot, right? So when they brought me in there on the gurney, they looked me over and like, you know what? We don't do head trauma here. Take him to regional. And that's what they did. It wasn't far away, maybe 10 miles away at best. I mean, so I got back in an ambulance, went down to regional medical center. Well, they began to work on me. And that's when they realized just how bad the accident really was. They said there is no possible way that he fell out of a truck and got this kind of damage to his head. Because here's what happened. On the right side of my head, my brain was bleeding. I had an aneurysm. So I was bleeding a lot on the right side of my head. On the left side of my head, my brain was bleeding. I was bruised and swollen. So my right side was bleeding profusely inside my brain. My left side of my brain was swollen and bruised. Now, if you kind of think about that for a second, think about maybe times you've fallen or whatever else and bumped your head. You kind of hit like one side. You fall over, you hit one side. You walk into a wall, you hit one side. Well, this was both sides. This base, like you took a couple of bricks, like smashed me on both sides of my head at the same time. Well, what ended up happening was they told everybody, look, there's no way that he got this kind of injury by falling out of the truck. You ran him over. Now, to this day, nobody knows exactly if it was the tires that got that I was run over by, like the back tires, like ran over my head, just boom, boom, or if it was I was kind of hit and stuck underneath the axle of the truck. At any rate, the back of the truck ran me over and crushed my head. That's what happened. Nobody knew that at the time. So I was actually in the hospital about 5 days. They put me in a coma, and just so they can do all the surgery. I had to have brain surgery to live. So on this side of my head, the right side of my head, I got a steel plate in my head from brain surgery. And what's really amazing about all of this is, at the time, my daughter was, I mean, she was born in 1996. She was right at, she was just 3 years old at the time. So she was still a little kid, but of course I was with her and I was the one raising her, along with my girlfriend, future wife. Anyways, I woke up about 5 days later in the hospital. After the surgery's done, the recovery time's done, I woke up and I remember it vividly. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I can smell the smells, I can hear the sounds, I can just feel the feelings. remember it very well. And I woke up, and the first thing I said was, "Wow, my head hurts," right? And my mom was there, and my girlfriend was there, and my brother was there, and they was like, my mom goes, "Honey, you were in a serious accident." And then she kind of told me what happened. And my next words were, "Where is Aspen? I miss her." Aspen's my daughter's name. So where is Aspen? I miss her. And it was then that people realized he may pull out of this. Because before the doctors were like, "We're going to do brain surgery. We're pretty good at this. We're thinking he's going to come out okay, but you never know. It's brain surgery. There's always the unknown with brain surgery. I mean, he could come out in a vegetable. He could come out with limited motor skills. Nobody really knew. Now, I woke up and was asking about my daughter almost first thing. Within a month after the accident, I was back to working half days. I worked at a shop, basically. I worked at a garage that installed tires and accessories on cars and trucks. That's what I did. So I was back working half days a month later. A month and a half later, I'm back at the gym exercising again. And fast forward now to this day, the only real side effects I have from this entire ordeal is I get headaches sometimes. I might get a migraine once a month because of it. So it was that I realized at that time that I was saved for a reason. I wasn't saved just to go back to the life I was living, which was just going nowhere, basically. So I had to basically redo my entire life. Fast forward and bring you up to speed a little bit. I mean, I got full custody of my daughter. I mean, 100% full custody, as in the custody papers read whatever visitation Mr. Boyd deems fit. That's what his ex-wife is allowed to have. I mean, I had 100% custody of my daughter. So I got remarried. I married the girl I was with that evening, Melissa. We got married. Been married almost 20 years now. So I got remarried, got full custody of my daughter, and got 3 college degrees. I started multiple companies, turned into a serial entrepreneur, and now something that I do is that as an executive coach, a business coach, a mindset coach, is I help entrepreneurs, overcome the speed bumps in their minds by replacing bad habits with good habits. Sounds pretty simple, but there's a lot there to unpack. And that's basically my mission in life right now is to help people really overcome the speed bumps in their minds. I like to digress and mention the word speed bump again before we go to the question and answer session. But a speed bump, if you look it up, what's the definition of it? What does it actually do? Speed bump, by definition, is designed to slow a vehicle down. That's what it does. A speed bump will slow a vehicle down. Think about your progress and what you go through. What mental blocks or speed bumps, I call them, in your mind. What stops you or slows you down? Now, a speed bump can also cause damage to a vehicle. I mean, if you go over a speed bump at a super slow rate of speed and almost stop on it, your car can grind across a speed bump. I mean, they can cause damage to your vehicle. Same thing as stopping you. That's why I like to work with mindset, because nothing happens to it till you have a positive mindset. Really, nothing good happens. And if you want to have a great life, if you want to have a great business, it starts by having a great mindset. And it's because I was turning to a human speed bump and had to look at my life in an entirely different way. I realized my thinking was all wrong, man. I was all wrong. So I went through and did a lot of things after, and I continue to do things. Wrote a book called Speed Bumps in the Mind. That's on Amazon. I do speeches. I do Bible studies. I've guest lectured at colleges. I've done sermons. I've been, paid for speaking, and all kinds of fun things I've done ever since this accident. Just by looking at, okay, that was a horrible thing. How can I overcome all this and start over again and live on purpose? And that's what I've been doing since that time. Took a little while to get over some things, really a couple of years to kind of get myself on track. But things are pretty awesome now. And now I like sharing that story as a precursor to help people overcome whatever it is they have in life. And it's really, it boils down to 7 areas, and we can get into those a little bit. But that essentially is my story of, how I was turned into a human speed bump.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. That's definitely an amazing story. So it it sounds like this your accident, it just changed your entire life, and it 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 did a lot of things. So it sounds like it made you look at your past and how you were acting before, made you change the way you were living your life, and it also made you want to seek more and to do more for people. Is that about right?
Absolutely. And I have no qualms about saying this as well. I don't believe that we came from the slime. I don't believe for a second in evolution. I believe that we are created. I believe in God and His Son, Jesus Christ. And I believe that I was saved for a reason. And I believe that when you're saved for good, right? So it's a permanent healing. And I was saved and kept on this planet Earth to do something. And I believe I'm doing it in this method right here as well in different facets. But yeah, that's it was a purpose afterwards. I realized I'm here for a reason. I spent some time trying to find that reason, but once it gelled, it was fantastic.
Mm. So what do you want people to learn from your story? What message do you want to get out there?
Oh, crikey, super. First and foremost, I like to share that A, you have greatness in you. You do. I mean, you have an inner genius that only you have. That's why you're still here. And you're here for a reason. You're really here to live in your greatness, in your inner genius, and deliver that to the world. Because nobody can do what you do the way that you do it. Sounds redundant when you say it like that, but it's so true. Nobody can do things the way that you do. You can communicate your message. You can have an impact on people. I mean, if you're an educator, if you're this entrepreneur, if you're just an accountant, whatever you are in life, nobody does it the way that you can. So first of all, you have greatness in you, and it takes time to work on those skills and deliver those back. I believe that that greatness put in you, that is put there by design, and your gift back to God or gift back to the world is using that gift, that greatness, that passion, that genius you have, and giving it back. I mean, that was the turning point for me. Realize I'm here on purpose. I need to make the best of this. What am I supposed to do while I'm here?
Hmm. So it's interesting because you weren't thinking about all of this prior to the accident, right?
No,
You made it. You. It sounds
nope,
like you were just kind
no.
of living life and not really thinking about it. So, because some people, after they have their accident, they just go back to their old ways. So,
Mm.
what was it about this accident that made you decide, okay, I was not living right and I need to change?
It was the fact it was a near death experience. I realized I almost died. I don't think about that whole a lot, but I almost died. So I could have not been here at all. Now, me spiritually, I wasn't saved. I didn't know God or Jesus as my Savior. So there's that. And then there's also I was so young, and did I do anything? I mean, will I have left any kind of imprint on this earth other than my daughter? Which is everybody procreates. Animals do that. That's not really profound. It's like, what did I even matter? Like how Bernard Burchard puts it, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And that's what it was. I realized I'm not here just to go and have a good time all the time and not be responsible. I'm here for a reason. And that's when I kind of searched, what am I here for? What am I called to do? So yeah, that's what it was. It's the fact that I realized I was almost dead. And I'm here for a reason.
Mhm. And it didn't you didn't come to that excuse me, you didn't come to that purpose right away, right? It took
No,
you many years.
it took years afterwards to learn, really to learn. I'll tell you when I really hit my stride with this, and that's when it was. I mean, the accident was 1999. I mean, right before the new year. I mean, afterwards, I was a believer in God. I was going to church and doing things, and it's, kind of living that life. I still didn't know what my purpose of what I was doing, and it really wasn't until I was in college. I started college in 2010. I got my associate's degree, and then I got my bachelor's in marketing. And then in 2014, I finished with my MBA. And that's when it really all came together. I'm not really one to go there and preach for or against college at this day and age. If you need it for your occupation, you need it. Beyond that, you don't. But I spent $60,000 in student loans to learn this, that I was designed to lead, motivate, and inspire people. I did that in my MBA classes without trying, and it came easy. In my MBA classes, if anybody here listening has a master's degree, a lot of that has to do with group work. The MBA class is all group work. There's a whole year of working with in groups. And every time we had a group assignment, I was the guy that they wanted in the group because I did well on stage. I had awesome work ethic, and I still have awesome work ethic. But it was like once I got on stage, I felt powerful. I felt alive. People were engaged. I was able to speak and lead and motivate and inspire. It was like, oh my, this is awesome. So that's what I got out of college. But it wasn't until college I realized this is what I was supposed to do. And that's when I wrote the book afterwards. I started giving speeches afterwards and completely revamped my business and started new companies. I mean, yeah, it took a while to actually research and find out what am I here for. I wasn't looking for it until I was in college and I was needing a different occupation. It was when it kind of fell in my lap.
Mm. So it's not just you wanted better for yourself,
Right.
right? And for your daughter, of course. So I'm assuming
Mhm.
she's an adult now.
She is. She's
Um,
doing that. Yeah.
so you also want better for other people. Did you, looking back on this now, did you ever talk to your friends, the ones from then? Now, do you still reach out to them? Do you guys?
We haven't talked in a long time. They ended up that couple got married and moved away to New Jersey, so I have not been in contact with them at all.
Mm. And your did you talk to your dad? Do you talk to your dad about it now? What's what's your family's take on this new what's the word? The new this new purpose that you have.
My dad passed away a few years ago. Cancer got him, so but his he was very much blue collar, very much, and my mom's the same way. So as far as what I'm currently doing right now, they don't really understand it. Um, she was happy that I wrote a book. She's happy that I give speeches, but she doesn't quite understand it. They're both basically growing up. They were factory workers. My parents were. So their philosophy of how to earn more money is somehow scrub harder and work longer, right? Um, and I don't teach that at all. So no, they're happy, but they don't really understand what I'm doing. Why wouldn't I just continue with my home inspection company from years ago because that was stable or whatever else? Why would I want to branch off and be an entrepreneur and have multiple companies? They just don't get it.
Mm. So they wanted you to have a real job or to keep your real job pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah. The quote, real job, was yeah, but it wasn't something that was fulfilling. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but if you're sitting in a cubicle, and this wasn't my job, if you're any kind of job that you don't like and you're there 8 hours a day, guess what? That's not your job, that's your life. That means that those 8 hours that you're there and you're unhappy, it's not just those 8 hours that are messed up, because other hours of the day are messed up because you're thinking about you have to go back to this job that you don't like. And it takes away your energy and takes away your drive and your meaning in life, quite honestly. I work in a job you hate. Now that's language that my mom really wouldn't understand because if you're bringing home money, that's what you do. Well, yeah, but you can certainly bring home money with doing something you love, right? I mean, it's not impossible. I know a lot of educators that love what they do, even though the pay isn't awesome. They love it. That's great, man. I would much rather work at a job that pays poor that I love than a job that pays well that I hate.
Hmm. So your entire world just shook up as I'm listening to you. You're looking for you changed your job, you gave up your good paying job to be an entrepreneur. You found God. It's you're you're looking for more now as opposed to just kind of going by. So your entire world just shook up all because of this near death experience.
It really was. I was basically on a path of kind of working dead end jobs is where I would have gone. I would have worked for the family business. And even then, that's kind of where I ended up, came back and worked back to the same job for a while, then did work in my family business and realized I don't really like construction work all that much. And I started my own company in 2004. I never looked back. I was been an entrepreneur since. But yeah, everything changed, and my family is happy that even my family members who are not believers, they don't believe in God, they're happy to see the change because I was a wild, crazy person, and now I'm a basically responsible adult that provides and does well in society. So my mom's happy about that. So yeah, my entire world it was a complete 180, completely different life.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's get into mindset a little bit. So what can we do to have a positive and fulfilling mindset? Because in the bio I read about if you have the right mindset, you can earn more money. So
Yeah,
tell us about that.
yeah. I mean, a great business starts with a great mindset. I mean, think about when you have stinking thinking and you're feeling angry, depressed, and aggravated. You don't come from a good place when you're doing that. But I mean, the simplest way is our mindset. Our mindset is a habit. It is. Our mindset is a habit. Think about some of the thoughts, and we have studies have shown 30 to 60,000 thoughts a day. And many of those thoughts are the same. If you go to a job, you kind of have a similar mindset. Not much really changes, whether you love it or not. I mean, if you go out to lunch at the same time with people, you kind of have a habit of doing that. You have a habit of waking up at a certain time, a habit of eating a certain kind of foods, a habit of doing whatever we do in life is full of habits. So, I mean, to completely redo your mindset, you can do it one small step at a time, but you simply replace bad habits in the 7 areas of your life with good habits. That's how you shift your mindset like that. Just small steps, small changes.
So like what? Can you give us an example of what bad habits people do that will slow them down?
Of course, we have a bad habit. Here's a super easy one. We have a bad habit of eating poorly. We all do. Everybody does. Did you know that if you look at your diet, and our brains need fuel. Don't forget, food is fuel. It's not even designed to be like this big smorgasbord of buffets isn't for enjoyment. It's fuel. So we're feeding our organs, we're feeding our brain, our organ. All right. So now it needs water, obviously. If you were to take just one thing out of your diet, you drink one pop a day, one can of pop, one can of soda. If you took that one can of soda out, that's your habit for now on. That's it. That's I'm not going to have that anymore. At the end of the year, you will have lost 17 pounds by replacing that one pop with a bottle of water. That was a small shift. By doing that, your health will be better, your mind will work better, you'll feel better. You're gonna have optimism just by feeling better alone. So that's one simple one. You can just take away that one pop, replace it with water, and you will feel better. After it takes about 66 days on average to really cement in a habit. People, there's been studies 7 days, 21 days. I mean, the real study shows it takes about 66 days to really make sure this is cemented in. This is a habit. You won't do anything besides it. So drink water instead of pop and see how awesome you feel.
That's a good point. That our the way that we think, the thoughts in our head, our behaviors, it it's influenced by food and the tops
It
and
is.
the types of foods that we eat. I know I eat poorly. I could testify to that, but definitely the sugary foods and the high sodium foods and definitely the foods that we eat does influence the way that we think. So what's a good habit that people can do, or that people already do, I should say, that can influence mindset?
A good habit that people already do.
Yes.
How about what do you feed your mind? That's the seven areas that I work in. Is first of all, it's mental, spiritual, physical, family, financial, personal, career. Those are the seven areas of your life. There's no other area besides those. Everything fits there. So I mean, I have one good habit: people who read books, and not just. I tease my wife when she would get the trashy novels, the trashy love novels. Read some nonfiction. Or read some personal development books, nonfiction books. Read a book. If you just read, if you read for half an hour a day, I mean, that would pretty much be, a book a month, a book every 2 weeks. That's a positive habit because you're feeding your mind something good. So, I mean, if people did more of that, it'd be pretty awesome.
Awesome. And another thing that just came to me in regards to mindset is self-confidence. So
Yeah.
what can we do to improve our self-confidence?
Self confidence, when you look at when you're self conscious and you're not feeling confident in anything, it's because you're looking at whatever you're about to do and there's an unknown there. And then you begin to doubt. That's why we get self conscious. We begin to doubt. And that's why we're not confident in whatever it is because we haven't done it yet. So, how to build your self confidence? Really simple. Take out a journal and just start writing all of your past successes. Doesn't matter when it started. It could have started in third grade and you got an A on the test. I mean, write down your past successes. Before you know it, spend 15 minutes doing that. You're going to have a couple pages of all the things that you are flipping awesome at, things that you've done, overcome, and did great at. Focus on those things. That empowers you. And then start tackling whatever task it is you're feeling subconscious about. People feel subconscious because they don't focus on how great they actually are. They focus on what could go wrong instead of what can go right. You focus on what could go wrong, you get nervous. You focus on what could go right, you feel powerful. So there's two steps there. You can focus on what can go right, you'll feel better. If that's not good enough, then write down in the journal all the things you already done that are great, things you've accomplished, things you've won at, succeeded in. I mean, the things that, okay, I earned an MBA, that's great. I got two black belts, that's awesome. I love martial arts. I enjoy going to the gym. I give speeches. Those things, like, oh yeah, I did all that. It's cool, man, great. Write those down, read over them.
Absolutely. And writing down your successes, no matter how small, no matter
Yeah.
how minor, not just thinking about them, but actually writing it down so you can visually see those successes on paper. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes. Something happens when you actually take a pen or a paper or pen or pencil and write down on paper. It's like you're really programming your mind. You can sit and think about it too. It's awesome. That's a whole different thing. I talk about you know using meditation as well. It's great. But when you write it down, it's like you're ingraining it in your head. So yeah, writing it down is powerful. That's why you write down your goals too. Don't just have goals in your head. You write these things down.
Awesome, awesome. This is fabulous advice. You are helping so many people right now. So I know we're having fun, but we're gonna wind things down a bit. So, do you have any final words of wisdom that you would like to share with our audience?
Of course. And I'll tell you a quote by Tom Ziegler, and it's this: "The fastest way to success is by replacing bad habits with good habits." And that's in any walk of life. If you're an educator, if you're a CPA, if you're a podcaster, if you want to improve any area of your life, simply start by improving your habits because our life is made up of habits. So the fastest way to success is to replace bad habits with good habits.
Awesome, awesome. Whoa. All right. Thank you so much, Shane. This was very enlightening. You definitely have taught me a lot, and I'm sure you taught our audience a lot as well. All right, so let me get your banner up here. All right, so you guys, Shane is all over that social media. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And he has a website, theshaneboyd.com. Don't forget the, that is very important. So for our viewers, his contact information is at the bottom of your screen. And for our listeners, his contact information will be provided to you in the description. But yes, he is on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So please follow him, stay in touch with him, and you can learn about his coaching services on his website. Shane, do you mind telling people about your coaching services?
Of course, and that's exactly what I work with people on. As an executive coach, I work with people through a 90-day program of helping you replace your bad habits with good habits so you can succeed in your business and your life. And I do the same thing as a marketing coach as well, but it has to do with habits. The thing is with having a coach, when you're paying for something, you pay attention, and when you have somebody there that is holding you accountable and giving you homework and helping you do things. You probably became awesome at what you're doing because you had somebody kind of holding you accountable to it. Same as having a coach in basketball or football or anything else. So yeah, I mean the coaching is yeah, you get all the mentoring and you get held accountable. You get programs that actually change your life simply one small step at a time.
There you have it. All right. So if you are looking for those coaching services, please check him out. Check out Shane Boyd. His website is theshaneboyd.com, and you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And he also has a 30-minute free 30-minute coaching call. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the Unleash Your Greatness coaching call. Now, with that, you're going to actually get a strategy that you can walk away with after that half an hour of what you can do to not just unleash your greatness, but start to replace your bad habits. You're going to find out here's my strategy in place that I can walk away with to start replacing my bad habits with good habits. Now, some of the things you may not be aware of. And through the conversation, I kind of pull those out of you and realize, hey, if you change this one thing, and replace this with that, you'll have a much better result. So you're going to have a game plan after you finish up that half an hour session of what you can do, not just in your business, but in your life to have a really happier, happier, wealthier life.
All right. So you can get a free 30-minute consultation, you guys. So take advantage of that. The link is at the bottom of your screen for those watching this on video. And for our audio people, I guess, that information, all of it will be in the description. So please check that out. And I want to make sure that we plug his book. He has a book on Amazon.com called Speed Bumps. Sorry, what's the name of the book again? The book is Speed
Speed
Speed.
bumps,
Go ahead.
speed bumps in the mind. Just go to Amazon, speed bumps in the mind, and you can get on Kindle or get the soft copy of your
All right, there you go. So go to Amazon.com, Speed Bumps in the Mind. Go get that book. All right, Shane, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming on the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It was fun. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to take you off camera now. And it is just you and me, guys. So let me put up my banner here for our viewers. And we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, wherever you are hearing me right now, whether you are hearing me on a podcast or you are hearing me on video, wherever you are listening to my voice right now, please check out our other episodes, check out our other videos and clips, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, whatever the directive is, do it. Do it now. And while you're at it, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section or in the comment thread. Gabrielle, would love to hear your thoughts. And as a reminder, this web series is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you'd like to learn more about us, the things that we have to offer, our services, if you're looking for tutoring services, please check us out. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And you can also find us all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, Eventbrite, YouTube. You could find us pretty much everywhere. So please check us out. And I encourage you to do so because if you mention that you heard about us from Hot Topics, we'll give you 15% off 6 hours of tutoring. That's right. I'm going to say that again. 15% off 6 hours of tutoring if you mention that you heard about us from Hot Topics. So that is an awesome incentive, and I encourage you to take advantage of that. Lastly, I also encourage you to sign up for our email list and our texting list. Stay in touch with us. You get exclusive offers, discounts, and announcements when you sign up for our email list and or our texting list. That information is at the bottom of your screen for our viewers, and for our listeners, you can learn more about that on our website. I know that was a mouthful there. Okay, so I'm going to share this final message with you before we officially close.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
Yes, please consider making a donation to our company. You can send your donations via Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo to the tag ASATS 2013 or via Zelle to our email address success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. All right, we are officially done. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I, Gabrielle, look forward to seeing you at the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us. And now I am signing off. Bye.